Welcome on into the Packers News Combine Chat here at the Indianapolis Convention Center. It is the 2020 NFL Combine. Hello, Tom. How are you doing?
It's that kind of week.
It has been.
Week,
Alongside Tom Silverstein, I am Olivia Reiner. We heard from many prospects today, including the linebackers and the defensive linemen. Yesterday, Jim Owczarski, I challenged him to a battle. I wanted to see him do some bench press reps. Tom, if you had to choose one exercise, what exercise would you choose to compete in?
Let's see. Well, the least chance of getting injured would be the vertical jump because I can't jump over a phone book. So maybe that. I might get up one rep on the bench press, maybe.
Oh, okay. All right. One rep for Tom.
Yeah,
one rep for Tom.
Maybe,
Not bad.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not running a 40. Too old.
No.
You know. Shuttle, no.
Okay, fair enough. That's all right. No worries, guys. If you have any thoughts about what Tom should be doing.
Wonderlic.
That's a good point. We do not lump in Wonderlic into all of these conversations that we have about what the prospects are asked to do. We talk about what they're doing on the field, position specific, non-position specific, but we rarely talk about the mental tests that they have to do as well.
That's
so
right.
maybe we'll put Tom up to that.
Here.
Yes. Yeah. So if you guys have any thoughts, let us know. Why not be part of our conversation over on our Facebook page? Get into the comment section right now. I will be taking a look and addressing some of your questions in just a little bit. First, I would like to discuss the linebackers. I think we have had a lot of conversations about the inside linebacker position as it relates to the Packers' future, especially when it comes to Blake Martinez. Blake Martinez set to become a free agent, inside linebacker. He started all 16 games for the Packers this past season. He registered 155 tackles. What factors are the Packers going to consider when it comes to Blake Martinez as he approaches free agency in March?
Money, and money. I think that's what it's going to come down to. I think Blake Martinez has a number, and I think that's probably around $10 million or more per year. And I think the Packers have a number, and it's probably around $7 or $8 million per year. And, it's going to be a game of, can I get what they offer? And by that, I mean Blake Martinez will go out to free agency, and he'll see if he can get $10 million. And if he doesn't, maybe he comes back. If he gets it, then he's gone.
All right, well, the Packers, if he's gone, they'll have to make a decision as to who to replace him with.
Yeah.
They've had that difficulty as of late with the guy next to Blake Martinez. It's been a revolving door of players, and most recently we've seen inside linebacker B.J. Goodson being that second guy alongside Blake Martinez. Goodson was picked up right before the Chicago game in Week 1. He only started 9 games and only played maybe 40% of the defensive snaps in the games that he did play. What should the Packers be thinking about when they approach free agency with him, seeing as he will be a free agent as well?
Yeah, I mean, he's not the answer. He's really, you want to try to replace him as a starter. He's a decent early down guy, but you want as many 3-down guys as you can get. Interestingly, probably the top inside linebacker on the market is Joe Schobert from Cincinnati, who played at Wisconsin. And I think he will make more than Martinez. He is going to be more expensive than Martinez, whatever Martinez winds up at. It would be a good signing for the Packers, but I don't think they can compete financially. I think that number's going to go way up. Some of it will, kind of depend on the salary cap, where that goes. But, so then you go to other tiers. You start to wait and see if teams shed inside linebackers. The Giants cut Alec Ogletree. I'm not saying he's washed up, but that's the kind of thing you start looking at, whether there's some guys who can hold you until the draft or until you can make some other kind of deal.
You've listed several free agents that the Packers potentially would be interested in, but we're here at the Combine. What about some of the potential prospects at inside linebacker? Where in the draft might the Packers look for an inside linebacker if they're interested in selecting one?
Well, if they're going to take one in the first round, there's probably 3 guys, maybe 2. Isaiah Simmons is the top guy. He can kind of play outside and inside, but they have no shot at him. He's going to go top 10. Then there's Kenneth Murray from Oklahoma. Probably don't have a chance with him. He's a pretty good player. And then Patrick Queen, that's the guy I don't get a sense yet of where he's going to go. He could possibly be available, LSU. Just really good, athletic, high tackle, able to cover inside linebackers. That's what they're looking for. Now, it's not the strongest position in the draft, but it's also a position a lot of teams aren't necessarily drafting for. You can get someone in the 3rd, 4th round. I mean, some of San Francisco's linebackers, I always go back to them. They pick these young second round. Greenlaw, I think, was a second rounder. Wars 5th, or that you can get some guys. You just have to you got to really put your best effort to get it.
You use the word athletic. It seems like a nebulous word. It can mean a lot of things. What types of traits would the Packers be looking for in an inside linebacker?
Athletic means that when that running back comes out of the backfield, if they decide to throw it to him, you can take a direct angle and get to him and knock him out for, I can see a play in my mind in the NFC Championship game where they swung one out to Jamal Williams and it looks like he's going to get a first down, or maybe it was a Seattle game anyway. Linebacker comes flying across the field, knocks him a yard short of the first down. That's what you're talking about with athleticism.
All right, so why don't we move over to outside linebacker? Someone we haven't discussed much on any of our shows recently is outside linebacker Kyler Fackrell. He is set to become a free agent this March. His production certainly dropped off this past season. He simply wasn't given as many snaps as he was in the past with the additions of outside linebackers Rashawn Gary, free agents last year, Preston and Zadarius Smith. So naturally, his production went down. What factors are the Packers considering there when it comes to approaching free agency with Kyler Fackrell?
Well, one thing I would advise teams to do is look at the number of pressures he had. He was really, according to my calculations, which take that for what they are, he had the second most pressures per pass rush, and behind Zadarius Smith. The problem was he couldn't finish. He didn't finish with sacks, but he was near the quarterback. He had, I think, like 8 quarterback knockdowns. Teams, you make money by having sacks, and so what I think is he's not going to come back to Green Bay. I don't think he wants to. I think he wants a fresh chance. He knows he's not going to play a lot with Zadarius Smith, Rashawn Gary, and Preston Smith. So I think you'll see him probably sign a 1-year deal, maybe a 2-year deal somewhere, try to re-establish himself as a sack guy, but I don't expect him to be back in Green Bay.
All right, so you don't expect him to be back. You mentioned the 3 guys that are there, Rashawn Gary, Zadarius, and Preston Smith. What about potential needs that the Packers might have at outside linebacker now with potentially Kyler Fackrell on his way out? If he hits the market, what might they be looking for, and where could they find someone?
I don't think they have a need. I think it's a strong draft for edge rushers, from what we've heard here. And if there's somebody who's sitting there, and they're picking, and it's not a need, but if that guy is a good pass rusher, you can't pass up pass rushers. You can't have too many of them. If you have 4 of them and they're all outside linebackers, you'll figure out a way to use them. And they want to use Rashawn Gary a little bit more inside. So I think, if there's an edge rusher there, you take it. Those pass rushing guys are just too valuable.
Brian Gutekunst does like to say that he likes whatever guy is the best athlete out there that is available.
Yeah, you got to take, especially in the first round, you have to take players. Even if you've got players at that position, it makes you a better team the more talent you have. You'll figure out a way to get them all on the field. A good coach does that.
A good coach, as in Matt Lafleur, who we've heard from this week at the Combine. We've talked about him extensively on our live stream, and we've taken some questions from you guys about him and what his comments were this week. When's the next time we're going to hear from Matt Lafleur? It might be for a little while.
Wow, could be the draft. Could be after the draft. I don't think he talks during the conditioning program. That's mid-April. Owners meetings. Owners meetings end of March. Yep, we'll hear from him then.
Well, when we do hear from him, make sure you check out all of our Packers News socials, because I'm sure we will be discussing it soon. Why don't we discuss your questions right now? Thank you for all of you in our comment sections right now. We'll start with Blake. He asks, who are the do-it-all defensive tackles in the Combine right now? How familiar are you with some of the defensive tackles that are currently here invited to the Combine?
Unfortunately, I just started looking at those guys today, and I have not gotten in deep with them. But, you know, the guy who stands out is Javon Kinlaw from South Carolina, and he's a big man, and you know, I don't think he'll be available then. But there are a couple others that I was looking at. Get back to me on that one. I will know more about that probably tomorrow.
We'll get back to you soon about that. However, I would assume that you know exactly what the Packers might be looking for this upcoming season when it comes to the defensive line and what types of talent they want to add there. What traits exactly do you think the Packers might want to add on the defensive line?
They like guys who can get up the field. But I wonder about that too. I wonder if they've considered getting a big old nose tackle and putting him in there and then running, you know, Kenny Clark kind of as a defensive tackle more. Kenny Clark's a good run player, and I don't know if his best position might just be over the center, but who knows what like a big, massive Linville Joseph type guy like the Vikings have, where they have three quick guys around him and one massive guy in the middle. I wonder if they're thinking that. But that would be different from what Patton likes. He likes his four guys to get up the field and disrupt the play.
We'll kick it out from the defensive line to that second level once again. Chet asks, do you think Gary can be a standout for the Packers? The rookie had a quiet season. He simply had two veterans ahead of him in Preston and Zadarius Smith. So that being said, what do we think about his upcoming year with the Packers?
So I was talking with someone I trust today about him a little bit. We were just talking about different things, and he said, you know, pretty much what I think we were able to tell is that he's a really good athlete, but he hasn't shown he's a really good football player yet, and that's something he's got to do. Some guys have it, and some guys don't have it as much, but they get it, they figure it out. Some guys don't ever figure it out, and they just are athletic guys. So he's got to figure out how to play the position, how to be outsmart the guys he's going up against, and use that unbelievable athletic talent he has. You know, that's something. It might take him a few years. You know, it could be. It'll be his fifth year, and he busts out, and then he'll be a free agent. So,
a few years. Packers fans, a little bit of patience. We'll see. Yeah. We've got our friend Norman here. Will the Packers continue the tradition of selecting someone who they don't talk to again? How much subterfuge is there around the time of the NFL Combine when it comes to teams that talk to certain guys and don't talk to others?
I think so. The other thing is that you don't take just who they talk to at the Combine, because they go to the Senior Bowl and they talk to these guys. They go to the East-West Shrine game. There's a lot of interaction. Then they could have them visit the facility too. So I wouldn't put a lot of. I think what they do is spread that out and try to get the most amount of guys. They particularly want to talk to guys who might have a sketchy background, or maybe they don't have a complete report on a guy personally and they want to know more.
Well, that's exactly what this whole process is all about, is getting to know all these guys. You hear right next to us, perhaps you can hear the excitement and the noise that is building right now with the bench press, and they're getting more information.
They're just waiting for me
on
to
the
get
process.
over there.
I'm telling you.
As soon as we cut out, I'll be over there.
I'm going to go push Tom over there. Why don't I try to do that now? Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We were live the past 3 days at the Combine, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We missed you. We didn't have you every day.
No.
But we're happy to have you now.
Buzzing around, here, and that's a great part about the Combine is there's so many other aspects besides just talking to the prospects. There's agents walking around, there's scouts walking around. It's all about trying to get information from them, so that's what it's about. I also want to say send out condolences to everybody in Milwaukee. That terrible tragedy happened not far from where I live, and so I'm sending out all my love and thoughts and all that kind of stuff to everybody in Milwaukee.
I will second that same sentiment as well. It's hard to be here, talk about football, do our jobs, thinking about everyone back at home in Milwaukee during this difficult time. It's challenging for us, and I can only imagine how challenging it is for everyone back there. So sending all of our thoughts with everyone back in Milwaukee. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Hopefully we will be back to talk to you again soon. Free agency is coming up, and right around the corner is the draft as well. Make sure you're checking out all of our Packers News social accounts so you're staying up to date. Of course, you should be also reading PackersNews.com. Lots of great stories up there now, lots of video as well. Hear from some, especially of your Wisconsin Badgers players. 4 of them were here at the Combine this week. So make sure,
and I'll have something on Jonathan Taylor later in the week that you'll want to read. So.
I will read it too. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great night.